Will later today chair a high-level SADC leaders meeting to discuss the political and security situation in Lesotho. The meeting, which will be held at the OR Tambo building in Pretoria, comes a few days before the staging of the national elections next week, Saturday. President Jacob Zuma and his counterparts from Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, Lesotho and Namibia will attend the extraordinary SADC double Troika meeting. Now, for more on the Troika, we are joined on the line from Pretoria by our SABC News contributing editor, Vuyo Mvoko. Vuyo, a very good morning to you. And can you tell us why this meeting by the Troika?
Thanks very much, Elvis. Well, there are some outstanding issues, in particular concerns from some of the parties, one of whom is, of course, the party of Prime Minister Tom Tabane, who believes that the country is not yet ready to go to the polls. He is raising a number of issues. Among them, he doesn't seem to believe that the Electoral Commission is ready just yet. He also doesn't seem to believe that the atmosphere inside Lesotho is conducive to a free and fair elections. Well, other parties do have concerns as well, but none of them, it would seem, are of the view that the election has to be postponed. They do believe that whatever issues may be outstanding, none of them are sort of strong enough, or none of them should stop that election from happening next week on Saturday. So that's really what is at issue. So what the Troika, the heads of state, are going to try and do today is to drill down to the specifics to make sure that everyone is convinced in their own minds that there is nothing to stop us. No one, from what we're picking up, no one, none of the heads of state, the SADC is convinced that this poll can and should go ahead on Saturday as planned. But you'll recall also that a few days ago, the Minister of Foreign Relations, South African Minister of International Relations, Ms. Ngwana Mashabane, did go to Lesotho. And while she was there, she did receive a report from the Independent Electoral Commission in Lesotho. And from that report, which we are told has been thoroughly interrogated, there is nothing to stop the election from happening. So what the heads of state are going to do today is to listen to each and every concern that is being raised, and if there's outstanding matters that still need to be attended to, they are going to attend to those issues. But from what we are picking up, there is nothing. No one seems to be convinced that there is anything that should stop this election from taking place this coming Saturday. Elvis?
Now, last week, the SADC facilitator, Cyril Ramaphosa, was in Lesotho. Can you update us on that outcome? And is there a sense that there are security concerns there?
Well, there are security concerns, certainly from one party at least. But Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa did try to drill it down to those who had raised the concerns, that as much as those concerns, or some of the concerns that they may have, may be valid, or certainly from a perception point of view, they do sort of have the right to raise issues or concerns that they may have. But as the facilitator, he didn't seem to think that their concerns are so big to the point that they would threaten the election. So he did commit SADC to ensuring that, one, the army in Lesotho will in fact assist that electoral process by distributing ballots, ferrying electoral commission personnel to the places that are maybe difficult to reach, and that they will confine themselves to the barracks to ensure that there is no intimidation in the streets, or they are not used, as has been the case in Lesotho, where you've got the army and the police taking sides with politicians and political parties and so on. So that commitment that was made prior, months ago, before, where all the parties and the security forces committed to a free and fair election, but also committed to ensuring that whatever they do in the run-up to this election, it will be in the interests of the Basotho as a whole, in the interest of a free and fair election and not a narrow party political interest. And that commitment has, in fact, to a very large extent, been honored, certainly from where SADC and the SADC facilitator stand. So, as I said, today it's about saying that everyone must just commit to ensuring that there will be a free and there will be an atmosphere that will guarantee a free and fair election over the next 6-7 days until Basotho go to election. Again, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa will be, there to answer whatever questions or concerns that the heads of state will be raising with him, whatever it is that the parties still believe stands in the way of that election happening. But to go back to the original point, the SADC is convinced, and so is the facilitator, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, that all the matters that the parties raised with him last week and prior to that have been and continue to be, in other words, the outstanding matters continue to be attended to. Elvis?
Vuyo, thank you so much for that report. That was SABC News contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko.